Manic Expression proudly presents Podcast Plays, with music by Ichabod Todd, edited by Ruby Marina, announced by J.L. O'Fowlane. Tonight's presentation, Another Time, by James Daniel Walsh. Podcast Plays are brought to you by Manic Expression's Cafe Press Shop. For more details, visit our sweatshop in Lower China. Because your money really can't be spent on anything else that's worthwhile. And now, Another Time by James Daniel Walsh.
What do you think, Lieutenant Neuvonen? The office of the Prime Minister. Not bad to expect the smell of corruption to be thicker.
Not now that you are here, General Kokola. Now that you are here, the windows have been thrown open. The corruption of that pig Kataya has aired out. Now, General, we are free.
6 years. We fought and we struggled and now here we are. No longer are we traitors or upstarts, no. We are conquerors, heroes. Now we pull the strings. Now we can give power back to the people. These people, the people of Finland, oppressed by the fascism that has spread from every corner of Europe, oppressed by a monster in a three-piece suit who smiled like a salesman when ordering the public execution of anyone who didn't say his name with love. Oppressed by a man who, as we speak, bleeds into the snow outside this very building, surrounded by his former slaves who spit on him and throw bottles. And we did that, my friend! We are the saviors of Finland!
Long have I dreamed of this day, General. After so many years of struggle and loss, so many dark days when victory seemed as distant as the stars, here we stand. Soon we will give Finland back to her people.
Yes, soon. A year, perhaps 2.
2 years? But, General, we can have elections ready in 3 months.
Elections? I think that's premature, don't you think? We still have enemies. Russia calls us terrorists. The United Nations was in love with the old regime and its core of leaders. No. Right now we must keep a tight grip on our prize. We must weed out those that will drag us back to the dark times. When we are stronger, when the world recognizes us as legitimate, then we can hold elections.
But, General, listen to how the people cheer for you. Surely, should you choose to run, they would elect you. But it must be their choice, or else how are you any different in Kataya?
How am I any different than Kataya? How am I any different than... Do you not remember? Do you not recall? Death camps! Children begging for scraps of food that no one had to spare! Do you not recall the police roaming the streets, eager to show the oppressors how powerless they were? I recall a day when my wife was held down by 2 such pigs! I recall how she screamed and begged me to help her! I recall reaching for her only to have my hand broken by a bullet. I remember how they taunted her and took turns not in an alley where no one could see but on the street. And the people that you put so much faith in just walked by, eyes down, hands in their own pockets. A revolution was born that day, my friend. On the day when I watched my wife succumb to a rape so brutal that she died of her wounds. Everything I've done for the last 6 years, every life I took, every bomb I detonated has been for her. You ask how I am different from my predecessor. In my Finland, there will be justice, but justice must be upheld by someone who is strong. Those people out there are weak. They are broken. They're like children. They need guidance and structure. Then one day, when they can be trusted, I shall grant them a say in how this country is run. Until then, they will have to be satisfied with having a just rule rather than a corrupt one.
I meant no disrespect, General. Please forgive me.
You have been a wise and trusted Lieutenant Heikki, and you have only the best interest of the Finnish people in your heart. You must never apologize for that, my friend. Trust in me as you have, and all will be well.
Of course, sir. With your permission, I'd like to check on security downstairs. Our battle is won, but our enemies still skulk about.
Of course.
A soldier should never close his eyes. I want you to meet my friend. This is .50 caliber black powder wheel-lock pistol. Not a very good weapon if your target is rabbiting, but seeing as you're only 2 feet away from its very loud mouth, I'd say that shouldn't be a problem. This baby doesn't have a pointed bullet, but rather a little metal ball. I know, doesn't sound very intimidating, maybe even a little old-fashioned, but there's so much black powder shoved behind this little metal ball that at this range, you'd have a whole lot less head after I pull the trigger.
Are you American?
I'm a man of the world, been all around, seen places you've never heard of. Today, I'm Finnish. I'm here to do the people of this country a favor.
Who sent you? Those dogs at the CIA have no say in the politics of my country.
I'm not CIA, General. Where I'm from, there is no CIA. I'm here to keep you from visiting horrors upon your people.
What horrors? I've liberated my people from horrors.
So you have. That's why I let you live, to do some good in this world. But your good will turn to bad real fucking quick. And I'm here to see that you go out on a high note.
What are you babbling about? What horrors, what terrible deeds have I done to warrant an assassin's bullet?
It's not what you've done, it's what you will do. In 6 months you have put to death more innocent men and women than your predecessor did in all of his reign. In a year you'll have invaded Sweden, then Norway. As all of Europe watches on their iPhones between games of Angry Birds, your armies will march into Poland, and once again Warsaw will be filled with the ghettos for a new madman's undesirables.
You're mad! Warsaw has never had ghettos. Poland has never been occupied.
You're fucking well told. Because I put a bullet in Hitler's head the same as how I'm going to put one in yours.
Are you a time traveler?
You can call me Walker. I was born the year 2482, and yes, for the last 20 years I've spent my days traveling through time.
You aren't an American spy. You're a lunatic who got past my idiot guards.
No, your guards are doing a fine job. I took my time, looking for the exact moment when killing you would leave the best possible outcome. It was here and now. Time travel's very exact, very quiet. One moment I wasn't here, the next I was, standing over your desk watching you soak in your victory.
I see. And when you kill me, what happens?
I don't know. Maybe Finland knows peace. Maybe someone worse takes your place and then I have to kill them. Wouldn't be the first time.
Oh, of course. This isn't the first time you kill a tyrant. There was that other man. What did you say his name was?
Hitler. Adolf Hitler. A fascist dictator in Germany. Was responsible for the systematic genocide of over 10 million people.
Sounds like a bad man.
He was.
Was the world better off without him?
For a while.
Why a while? Come now, Walker. If you're going to murder me and rob my people of their savior, you should at least tell me what the potential consequences are.
The world united to stop Hitler. The United States turned the tide of the war, ensured victory to the Allies. When I killed Hitler before he could take power, it reset the timeline. There was no war, and so no soldiers died. A man named Griffin, a man who would have died when the Allies invaded Normandy, instead became a politician. He rose to the highest office.
And?
The United States was still in the grip of economic turmoil. Griffin found a scapegoat. He ordered the systematic elimination of every black man and woman in the country. Started a deportation back to Africa. When they resisted, Griffin called them enemies of the state and ordered their execution.
I take it because I've never heard of this Griffin that you killed him as well?
Yes.
And did that fix the world? Did his death change history for the better?
For a time.
Let me guess, someone took his place.
And I killed her, too. Don't fucking move.
If you're going to shoot me, I will stand like a man.
There's no if about it.
Then why haven't you done it yet? Could it be you don't have the stomach for it? Could it be you've never held a gun before in your life, then now as you stand here face to face with a great man, your little fantasies beginning to unravel?
Sometimes I like to talk first. I hop around all day, every day. 1 minute I'm in 20th century Afghanistan stabbing bin Laden in the throat. The next I'm in ancient Rome shooting Caligula between the eyes. Sometimes it's nice to pause and look a tyrant in the eyes.
I think you must not be very good at your job, my time-traveling friend. History as I learned it in school is a bloody mosaic. Wars, genocides, enough death to make all the world weep.
I'm still young. I've got time.
Let's say I believe you for a moment. Let's say all this is true. In your own words, the likelihood is that someone worse will take my place. Why not go back and kill my predecessor? You won't find a more brutal or corrupt ruler in all of history than Pertti Kataja.
You'll be worse.
Worse? How could I be worse? How could anyone be worse? 17 years that man ruled this country. 17 years of oppression. When I was just 15, they put me to work in the fields. The same fields my father worked and died in. I worked under scorching sun. I worked in bitter cold. Days passed without food. I was 15. A 15-year-old should never be hungry. A 50-year-old should never have to watch his younger brothers shrivel up and die while bureaucrats and bankers grow large with the food we grow. Ah!
These are the same arguments over and over from every butcher. They started it. You learn to be a monster from other monsters if it's an excuse. The first man I ever killed was named Davis. He ruled my time from one corner of the globe to the other. I was the leader of a resistance faction. We were all but wiped out, our death imminent. Then we heard about this time travel experiment. They'd been trying for decades, but finally figured out the science. This was our last chance. If we couldn't stop Davis now, then we'd go back, take him out before he ever could take power. Plan went off without a hitch. I went back 30 years. He was a lawyer. Can't you believe that? He worked in a little office, no clout. I took my time with him, made his death last a good long while. I expected to return to my time and find utopia. Instead, I found a world at war with a man named Roberts, whose army had conquered half the planet. Before I reset the timeline, Roberts was the leader of the resistance. He was a man who set me back, my captain, my leader. I shot him down, made it quick, out of respect for the man I knew. I reset the timeline again and again, all before a single 24 hours passed for me. There were always warlords, or corrupt politicians, or corporations ordering young men to their death to protect the bottom line. That's when I started going back further. I thought maybe there was some root I could tear out, some first evil I could stop. But there isn't.
So you chose me next because...
Whenever the timeline resets, I look around and see who the worst of the worst is. I happen to be in your time. I happen to see your name. Just bad luck on your part.
In your original timeline, what was the history of my country?
Finland in the early days of the 21st century was a quiet country. It had a parliamentary government, no war, no conflict.
I see. So then tell me, Walker, what did you fuck up to turn my country into hell on earth?
There would have been a nuclear war between the United States and Russia. Your country would have been a smoldering rubble. I killed the politicians on both sides that would have caused this war, those who stood in the way of progress. Because the war was averted, a man who otherwise would have died instead rose to power. Pertti Kataja, your predecessor.
All this because of you. Because of you I've watched everyone I love die. Because of you my country is on fire right now.
I don't start fires! I put them out.
You hop around time playing God, killing whom you please, killing one tyrant and enabling another. 20 years, you said? 20 years, dozens of murders a day? How many thousands of lives have you taken, Walker?
Enough to save billions.
Oh, really? How has that worked out for you? Right now, France is at war with Italy. Thousands died just last year when Muslim extremists bombed Tokyo. Australia is a nuclear wasteland. How much of that is your fault, Walker?
I can fix it.
No, you can't! You said so yourself. There is no original sin. There is only humanity. We are savages, barely out of the cage. We raise ourselves above the beasts in the wild, but no species is more brutal than us. You'll kill me today only to have the country split in two. There will be civil war. Moscows will see this as a perfect opportunity to come in and conquer us. They've been sharpening their claws for years. Out of my death, how many will die? More or less than I would have killed in my regime?
I don't know.
You don't know. You think you're so much better than me. You fancy yourself a peacemaker. You're no different than me, no different than any of the men and women you've cut down. You're just another tyrant forcing your will on the world. If you had stayed in your own time, I would be a different man. I'd have my wife, maybe some little ones. Perhaps I'd be a baker. I love the smell of bread. My country will be at peace. My life will be whole. Who made you God? When will you stop?
I grew up in hell, the same as you. I wanted to make it better. I wanted to live my life in peace. But you wouldn't let me. 20 years I've bounced through time. No days off. I barely sleep. I'm lucky if I get a bite to eat before I'm off to the next pit, taking out another of you rats. You people. You ungrateful fucking people. I've tried so hard. I made a holocaust of time, and still you people bicker and squabble and bully one another. I've given you every opportunity to stop, and you won't. So neither will I. I will never stop. I will write and rewrite history till you people get it right. I will leave the world a better place, or I will erase it.
Spoken like a true tyrant.
You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between.
General! Who did this to you? My General, my leader.
Sir, what are your orders?
My orders? What are my orders? I want you to find who did this! I want you to seal off the city! I want every house checked! Every citizen questioned! I want you to find the villain who murdered our beloved leader! I will have his head, even if I must take the head of every man, woman, and child in Helsinki! Start with them! That rabble outside! I want them arrested! All of them! I want them questioned! Use whatever methods you will! But find me that assassin! By God, we will have justice! By God, we will have peace! Also help me, we will have blood!
Another Time starred Matti as General Kokkola, Patrick Dunn as Walker, Greg Gamble-Pudding as Lieutenant Nuvanen, Kenneth Glad Jorgensen as the Guard. Stay tuned next time for plays for more of Manic Expression's talented members, and find all of their videos, blogs, and other creative endeavors at manic-expression.com, the greatest community on the web.